All humans encounter both small and big problems throughout their lives, and it's impossible to find a life without any difficulties. However, the difference between successful, wealthy, and great individuals and weak and small ones lies in how they deal with these problems. If you are someone who quickly becomes angry, frustrated, or sad after facing various problems and quickly lose hope in solving a problem, feeling like your world is collapsing, this video can change your perspective on problems forever. Just like every day, I have prepared an inspiring story or text for you to change your views on life and problems so that you can move faster towards success and overcome obstacles one by one. Today, I am sharing another piece of the valuable book of Living a Good Life with you to find a different approach to life's problems and the hardships that every individual experiences in life. If you feel that my instructional videos can be inspiring for you and help you in achieving your goals, be sure to join me so that together we can move forward step by step on the path to success. Douglas DC-1, the world's first commercial jet airplane, was built in Britain in 1953 and 1954. During those years, mysterious accidents occurred to this model of airplane, in which most of them were destroyed in mid-air. One airplane crashed shortly after taking off from London Heathrow Airport. Another disintegrated while flying over the island of Elba, Italy. A few weeks later, another DC-1 sank near Naples. In all three cases, nobody survived the accidents. The aviation fleet was grounded, but investigators couldn't determine the cause of the incidents, so flights resumed. Just 2 weeks later, another airplane crashed, again near Naples, the final nail in the coffin for the DC-1. Later on, the flaw that caused these accidents was identified. Cracks had formed in the corners of the square windows of the airplane, and they grew throughout the body, causing the entire aircraft to disintegrate. In fact, the reason passengers now only see oval-shaped windows on airplanes is because of the DC-1. But this plane had another important achievement. After the disaster, David Warren, an investigator of the accident, proposed placing an almost indestructible device to record flight data, later named the black box, in all jet airplanes. The idea was later implemented. The black box records thousands of different data, including cockpit conversations, every second and makes it easier to determine the exact cause of an accident. No industry takes mistakes as seriously as the aviation industry. Captain Sullenberger, after his dramatic emergency landing on the Hudson River, wrote, "Everything we know about aeronautics, all the rules written in aviation law books, all the regulations we know them all because someone has died somewhere in an aviation accident. With each accident, the subsequent flights become safer." This principle, let's call it the black box mindset, is a valuable mental tool that can be applied in any area of life. The expression black box thinking was coined by Matthew Syed, who has dedicated an entire book to it. Humans, on the contrary, are exactly the opposite of the aviation industry. For example, let's say a few years ago, you bought some stocks, each worth $100. Now, the price of each of those shares is only $10. What comes to your mind? You hope, and maybe pray, that the share prices will rise as soon as possible. Or you curse the company's managers. Or you prefer to sigh and console yourself a little with this small piece of hope and despair. A very small number of people easily accept reality and analyze recorded signs of their own flight. This requires two things. First, fundamental acceptance, and second, black box thinking. First the first matter and then the second. Have your careless checks arrived at your bank branch? Unfortunately, regardless of your feelings, this has happened. Have you sent an angry email to the head? There is no way to get it back, no matter how many glasses of wine you drink, or how much you try to justify your bad behavior. If cancer is spreading in your body, it doesn't matter whether you think about it or ignore it. Paul Dolan, a psychology professor at the London School of Economics, has studied how people who are gradually gaining weight and getting heavier redirect their attention to aspects of their lives that are less related to this issue, such as their profession. Why? because focusing on such matters is easier than paying attention to losing weight. In this situation, it doesn't matter what you're focused on or what your interests or motivations are. The world is never interested in knowing what you think or how you feel about it. So it's better to get rid of such old thoughts from your mind as soon as possible. In a long journey, nothing is more tiring or frustrating than the daily effort to believe in things that become more unbelievable every day. This is what philosopher and Nobel Prize-winning mathematician Bertrand Russell wrote. Of course, this is somewhat exaggerating because there is no external absolute happiness. Nevertheless, Russell's opinion is completely true that self-deception does not go hand in hand with a good life. Accepting reality is easy when you like what you see, but when that's not the case, you must accept it, especially when it's not like that. Russell continues this discussion with an example. A playwright whose plays have all failed miserably must ultimately come to terms with the fact that his plays might actually be bad. You may not write plays, but I'm sure you can find similar examples in your own life. Maybe you're not good at learning foreign languages inherently. Maybe you're not a manager or a sports hero. You need to consider these truths and pay attention to their consequences. How is fundamental acceptance of failures, deficiencies, and losses possible? If we abandon ourselves to our tools, such a thing is somewhat tiresome. We often see others more transparent and clear than ourselves, which is why we often lose faith in ourselves but rarely in others. Therefore, your best chance is to have a life partner or a friend whom you can rely on and who can show you your truth, whether ugly or beautiful. Even in these circumstances, your brain tries its best to downgrade the parts of this truth that you find unpleasant. However, over time, you will learn to take others' judgments of yourself seriously. In addition to fundamental acceptance, you need a black box. Build one for yourself. Whenever you make a big decision, jot down everything that crosses your mind on paper. Assumptions, thoughts, and conclusions. If a decision you made turned out to be a mistake, take a look at your flight recorder. It doesn't have to be an elaborate one, a small notebook will suffice, and analyze what led to your mistake. It's as simple as that. Every time you bring up an explainable embarrassment, your life will get better. If you can't find your mistakes or don't understand the world well or don't know yourself, simply put, if you can't find the place where you made a wrong step, you'll stumble with your face on the ground again. Practice and diligence in analyzing will certainly prove its worth to you. Marginal note: black box thinking is not only effective in personal aspects, but also in the business world. It is something that must be included in the conventional methods of any organization. Fundamental acceptance and black box thinking alone are not enough. You must correct your mistakes and protect yourself against them in the future. Just as business partner Warren Buffett says, if a problem is solvable, don't attack it until it becomes an insoluble issue. You would be so stupid as to deserve such a problem. Don't wait for the results to become apparent. Alex Haley, the writer, says, if you don't grab reality by the throat, reality will grab your throat. So accept reality, fundamentally accept it. Especially the parts you don't like. It may be painful at first, but it's something that must be done because its value will become evident in the future. Life is not easy. Even in a good life, you have to cope with failures, and it's okay to occasionally take a wrong step. The key is to understand the cause of this and stop it at its roots. Because problems are not like fine French wines, they don't get better with time.